What if the pain you endure could become your greatest masterpiece? Tonight, two minds collide. Frida Kahlo, whose art transformed suffering into immortal expression, and Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who dared to ask, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger? Brace yourself for a debate that will challenge everything you think about pain, identity, and creativity. Watch closely, learn deeply, and subscribe now, because the lessons in this clash could change the way you live your life.
My life has always been a canvas painted with pain. Some people run from suffering, try to hide it, to ignore it. But I discovered something that changed everything. Suffering is not just something to endure, it is something to transform. Every fracture, every illness, every heartbreak became a brushstroke. My body broke, my spirit bent. Yet through it all, I painted. Art is not decoration, it is confession, it is survival. When I paint my pain, I claim it, I understand it, I give it meaning. People look at my paintings and see colors, shapes, faces, but I see lessons. Each scar, each tear, each moment of anguish carries a message. Life will challenge you, and it is your choice to collapse or to create. The world tells us to hide what we suffer, to conform, to smile even when the heart shatters. But to do so is to erase part of our humanity. My portraits are not just about me. They are about anyone who has felt trapped in their own body, their own mind, their own circumstance. By revealing my pain, I open a door for others to confront theirs. Pain is a teacher, and art is the language of that lesson. When Nietzsche says, "What does not kill us makes us stronger," he speaks truth. But strength is not just endurance, it is expression. To survive is human. To transform that survival into something that touches others, that speaks across time, that is divine. I want everyone who looks at my work to realize your struggle is not shameful. Your suffering is not a secret to hide. It is the material from which your identity, your courage, and your legacy can be built. The brush does not lie. The canvas does not judge. When you confront yourself honestly, you are unstoppable. I am Frida Kahlo. I lived through the unimaginable. I painted through the agony. And I learned that every wound carries the potential to teach, to inspire, to endure beyond death. And if you let your pain speak, your life can become your greatest masterpiece. Remember this as you watch our debate tonight. What you face, what you feel, can shape you into someone extraordinary. And if you want more lessons that will challenge your mind and inspire your heart, subscribe now, because this journey is only beginning.
Frida, your words resonate with the raw truth of human existence. You embrace suffering, you transform it, you make it visible. And that is no small feat, but let us not forget, pain itself is not virtue. It is a challenge, yes, a catalyst, yet it is our response that defines greatness. The world is indifferent to your suffering, meaning must be forged by your will. You speak of painting as expression, as confession, as survival. That is admirable. But I say this, surviving is merely the first step. To ascend, one must affirm life, even with all its cruelty, absurdity, and torment. One must say to existence, and in doing so, rise above mere endurance. The artist who succumbs to suffering is still a victim. The artist who creates in defiance of suffering becomes a creator of new values. Your body, your scars, your agony, these are material, not mastery. True mastery comes when the individual takes the pain, looks it straight in the eyes, and says, I will use this to redefine myself, to assert my own essence, to impose my will on my fate. The deeper the suffering, the greater the opportunity to overcome, to grow, to become the Übermensch, a being who transcends the ordinary and shapes existence on their own terms. You tell the world to confront its pain, to let suffering speak. I say, let it speak, but then act. Do not merely feel or reveal, transform, elevate. Let each wound be a stepping stone, not just a mark on a canvas. Life is not merely to be documented. It is to be conquered, molded, sculpted into a testament of human will. Consider this: those who endure passively are at the mercy of life. Those who channel their anguish, who wrestle with it and turn it into creation, philosophy, art, or action, they seize power from the chaos. You have begun this journey, Frida, and your courage is undeniable. But the path does not end with expression. It begins there. To create is noble, yes, but to affirm life, to assert strength, to overcome the inner weakness that suffering breeds, that is the true victory. So as we debate tonight, remember this: life will wound you, oppress you, and test you. You must not only survive, you must assert, define, and elevate. Pain is the hammer, and your will is the sculptor. Let the sculpture stand eternal. I am Friedrich Nietzsche. And in the fire of suffering, one must choose not just to endure, but to become greater than all adversity.
Friedrich, I hear your call to transcendence, to rise above suffering and assert one's will. But I must tell you this: not all wounds can be conquered through sheer willpower alone. Some fractures run so deep they shape who we are, whether we like it or not. My body, broken again and again, my spirit crushed by betrayal, loss, and pain. These were not mere obstacles to assert my essence over. They were teachers. They forced me to confront reality, to dig into the marrow of existence, and to emerge not just stronger, but more human, more vulnerable, more real. You speak of the Übermensch and the triumph of will, but I ask, what of empathy? What of the human connection that forms when one shares suffering rather than conquers it alone? My art, my life, my pain, they speak to others, resonate with them, allow them to find meaning in their own struggle. Strength without compassion is hollow. Victory without understanding is empty. I do not deny the power of will, Friedrich, but I insist that true greatness comes when suffering is transformed into something that illuminates the path for others, not just elevates the self. And let us not romanticize pain as a mere tool for power. Pain is chaotic, unpredictable, often unfair. It teaches humility as well as endurance. To claim control over it as if it were entirely ours to command is to ignore the lessons that suffering imparts: the beauty of fragility, the necessity of patience, the inevitability of limitation. Yes, we can assert, we can create, but we must also acknowledge the wounds that shape our vision, that make our creations resonate with authenticity. I painted through agony. I bled on canvas. My life was a testament that survival alone is not enough. It is how you translate that survival into meaning, empathy, and beauty that defines your legacy. So while you speak of rising above, I say, rise, yes, but do not sever the threads that tie you to what you endure. Embrace them, let them speak, and let them guide your creation in ways no will alone can achieve.
Frida, your perspective is profound, and I do not dismiss the power of empathy or the resonance of shared suffering. Yet you still cling, in part, to the notion that vulnerability alone can elevate. Feeling deeply, connecting with others, expressing pain, these are necessary, yes, but they are not sufficient. One must do more. One must impose order upon chaos, even if it means embracing solitude, even if it means rising beyond the comforting embrace of shared suffering. Empathy and art illuminate, but they do not forge strength. True triumph requires facing the void, confronting the indifference of existence, and shaping yourself into a force that no pain can defeat. You transform suffering into beauty, yes, but can you also transform it into power, into a principle of self-overcoming? The world does not reward sentiment alone. It rewards those who dare to redefine the rules of life, who take what is destructive and make it a ladder, a tool, a weapon to elevate existence itself. You speak of threads that tie you to your wounds, yet the strong man severs these threads, not to erase memory, but to transcend limitation. To carry suffering without bending to it is noble. To bend and emerge stronger is divine. Your brush brings solace to the world, Frida, but my hammer strikes the foundations of weakness itself. I urge you, do not only illuminate, transform, assert, dominate the chaos within, so that your life, and not only your art, becomes the testament to human will. Let your wounds speak, yes, but let your will answer, and answer boldly. Let the canvas be your voice, but let your life be your conquest. Only then can suffering be more than art. It becomes power incarnate. I am Friedrich Nietzsche, and I say, to endure is human, to transform is divine, and to master oneself is the ultimate triumph.
Tonight, we witness a clash of fire and philosophy. Frida Kahlo teaches us that pain, when embraced and expressed, can become beauty, connection, and lasting inspiration. Friedrich Nietzsche reminds us that suffering is also a call to rise above, to forge strength, and to assert our will over the chaos of life. Life asks us to do both, to feel deeply and to act boldly, to transform our struggles into art, and to shape ourselves into forces that cannot be broken. If this debate inspired you, subscribe now and follow our channel. More life-changing clashes await. Lessons from history's greatest minds and modern icons, ready to transform the way you see life.